Yeah, that's a part of the effect, how they both figure it out simultaneously. And that's why I was saying non-local information. What non-local information and memories are ideas that are just kind of out in the ether. It's assuming that you believe in that, but, there's nothing to disprove or prove it other than us just kind of babbling and speculating. We barely know how the mind works. In contrast to all the information about everything else on this earth we know very little about our own minds. And how an idea is spread, or even how an idea is gained. Okay, how did I get to do this? How did I don't know. It just happened. How did that happen? Was I a funnel for these ideas? Was I an antenna? How did it strike me? I'm not sure. The mind just works in very mysterious ways, so that could leave a lot of room for speculation about information being non-local. And I've heard arguments that do support it. The 100th monkey is one of the most powerful that I think. The fact that something can just change in an instant in the culture, something can finally be figured out all at the same time. Not exactly like that. Yeah, right. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Well, I don't see why I can't be on the net and be a philosopher. Because, in my eyes, I think that this whole internet thing is a very, very interesting model for how our consciousness configures. It's kind of like we're trying to get out of our minds what we want even more efficiently and in a language that everybody can understand. Because if you guys recall back to, I don't know, maybe you might be a new person and you might not have seen that video, but my episode of the White Walkthrough that I talked about reality tunnels, that's one of the biggest problems, is just conveying yourself and what you think. It's so hard to understand what another person is saying when you really get down to it. When you think about it, you're saying words, you're making small mouth noises that we've agreed in whatever language we're speaking to be this thing, but it's open to huge amounts of interpretation, and it can mean a majority of different things for different people, because everybody's reality tunnel is different. Therefore, we're all seeing this life at a different way, at a different angle. And of course, if you don't take the time to realize that, hey, hold on a second, I'm in my own reality tunnel and you're in your own, so instead of trying to stomp all over your ideas, let's have discussions. Let's not have arguments, discussions, and try and understand each other better. I think that the internet is doing a great job at connecting us all. It's such a crazy entity. I can't even predict where it's going to go in the future. I'd love to think that eventually we're going to be able to download ourselves into machines. That's probably the ultimate for me, is that I won't need my physical body anymore, but I can continue on with this thinking process. I think it would be really interesting at the end of the life cycle of a human, you'd have the option of downloading your consciousness into a machine. And I don't even know why it would be an option at that point, if I think about it, other than the fact that we need to update our storage systems and we need to work on technology, as we do. We constantly work on technology, but, we keep on at it, but to the point where we have unlimited storage capacities. Because if we store everybody on the Earth's consciousness to one consciousness fully is yet, that's going to take a lot of data. That's going to be a lot of space. I read the article of how they made Project Cafe. I didn't see the video, though. And they're running it as a computer, so it's not actually showing you the full capacity of Project Cafe. It seems to be slightly better, as they were saying, but really, we can't be sure until Nintendo debuts what they have planned for the system. It's so funny that everybody's so hyped for Wii Cafe, when I'm sitting here with my 3DS in my hand like, hello? Games? Anybody? Developers? Hello? I just came out! Yeah, and they're already focusing on another console. It's very funny. We should be like Mega Man and Progressive Cars. Well, yeah, that's an interesting topic I wanted to talk about too. Good transition, Ninja David. Hackers. And also, PSN is back up. That was interesting. The only reason that was interesting was because I was over Matt's house, and it was very funny because we saw a video of the president of Sony saying that PSN was back on, and then when he went on his own PS3, it wasn't. It let him download the update, which made all the firewalls better and honed the server, I suppose, but it didn't actually let him access the server, or it didn't let him access any of the system's features like downloading and Wi-Fi. So that was kind of funny, but that's something you'd have to consider. Is if consciousness is in machines, what about the physical form people that have something to gain from the data that's in the machines? It kind of leads me to believe that before we can move on to machines, we have to be a lot more communicative as a population, as a human race. We have to get communicating, and we have to stop doing it in the form of wars. We've already shot up 1 billion people or so. It can't be done in that manner anymore. We need to evolve past that. And with PSN, that's a perfect example. How I can't even get behind hackers. Like, I like hackers to a degree. It depends what hacker you are. I'm a hacker to some degree, too. I hack games. But I hack games to get alternate content. I hack games to get additional content, so it's more like modifications. But why are hackers attacking an entertainment company when there are so many other corporations out there? So many, doing so much more damage to people on a mass majority, a mass scale. Why aren't you attacking those people? What, you're going after Sony because they took away your Linux? Oh, boo-hoo, get over it, okay? It's a business decision that maybe doesn't ride right with you, but instead of attacking people personally, because that's what they did, they seized everybody's credit card numbers and they were threatening the CEOs, like, we have your data and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to say it's Linux. This is what Matt tells me that this whole hacking thing was about. People were pissed that the PlayStation company took away Linux from PS3. So if that's all that's about, that's really pathetic. I don't understand why people don't hack the bankers. Seriously, why are we not hacking these criminals? These people steal money from us in front of our faces every single day, and nobody's doing anything about it. It's business as usual. Oh, the bankers just got tons and tons of bonuses for failing at their jobs. And on top of that, we're going to prop them up a little bit more. Prop them up a little bit more because the system's failing and we need you to believe in it. They're bankers. They're weak. What profession do they have? They have the profession of bullshit. They can do a good bullshit story. So how about this for a concept? Instead of going around attacking petty little companies, hackers join together around the world and fuck up the banks. It's all numbers now. It's not anything real. I talked about this in the monetary system video that I made for Dimension DGZ, but it's not real anymore. It's trust. It's faith. It's completely a religion money. The monetary system isn't backed by anything, and it would be filling me with chortles if I saw them scrambling to rush and try and make their numbers make sense. Because that's all they ever do, and it would be so humorous to see all the hackers in the world just completely shitfuck the system of the banking. And around the world, not just the U.S., not just England or other English-speaking countries, we want everybody. We want all the banks to fail, and I would like that to happen so we could take a step back from this paper mirage that we hide behind because we're too afraid to step out of our houses, shake hands with our neighbors, and say, what's going on here? I don't know, you don't know, but let's try and solve it together. Instead of doing that, we hide behind money, and I would like to see ourselves kind of evolve past that. So, if we can destroy the monetary system and then emerge a better people, that would be great. I know that what I'm spouting here is complete nonsense. It's revolutionary bullshit rhetoric, but hey, it's fun to fantasize, right? Then what about all the money? It starts a depression. Well, see, that's the thing, DieHard243, is that the system is bullshit anyway. I took AP Economics last year. No, not last. Yeah, last year. And I was really very disheartened to see how they decide some really important things like GDP and other factors that show whether a country is doing well or not. And a lot of it is dependent on the economist deciding whether or not he wants to include this figure of GDP or that figure. One of the most complex things of economics that I could never wrap my head around was the fact that only final goods counted. But what counts as a final good? Okay, so do you count the business that uses the paper, or do you count the paper mill that was started by a couple of brothers together who made a paper company and then their final product is paper? For them, that's it. The final product's paper. But for another person, that's only an integral part of their overall business. What do you include in the GDP? And what do you overcount or what do you undercount? It's madness. And it doesn't make any sense. There's a reason people can't get into economics and politics. It's because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to really question it, because when you do, you start to realize it's bullshit. And you don't want to follow it anymore. And you start to think of alternative ways of living, like me. And you want to get off the grid and not patronize their system anymore. That's the best way to defeat them, really, is not through any kind of fanciful hacker attack, but the real way to defeat the monetary system is to not need it, to not use it. That's why I don't have a car. That's why I don't have license and I don't pay insurance. I'm probably going to have to get a license now, though, because I'm going to community college. But, you know, other than that, I try and live very fiscally low. I have pretty much everything that I'm looking around at pretty much is all a gift. And it's gifts well earned. It's not like I just get gifts all the time, but I've never had a job. I've never had a job that had an income or a paycheck, but I've had plenty of jobs that have taught me things about life and have built me up character-wise.